Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers of Cricket Happenings. This is Hope welcoming you to your Saturday edition of the Cricket Happening Show today. Well, on this Cricket Happening Show, as you know, again, this particular week, I was only able to get on to the Cricket Reddit page and Twitter, and I used to put some blogs, and I'm very happy to see the response. It has been it's really making me more motivated to do this show. So thank you, whoever really is enjoying my cricket show, enjoying my cricket Reddit pages, my brief blogs on cricket, and also my Twitter at times. Basically, it's a capsule that I'm going to present to you, a cricket capsule, one could call it, as we are going to talk about what happened in this particular week in the cricketing world. So first, just talking about it, we have England swamping Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka with a 2-0 test series verdict, an absolute clean sweep there, totally dominating the Sri Lankans in Sri Lanka, and that was something which was a job well done by England, I thought. The next one, Bangladesh swamping the crippled West Indian team 3-0 in the ODI series, and now getting ready for the test match, which is going to be starting in the month of February. So that is something we are going to have a look at. And briefly, I'll talk about it. Yesterday, we saw how Pakistan, for the first time, getting a test series. The first test match being played after quite a long time in Pakistan. I'm sure the Pakistan public would have been absolutely filled with joy as Pakistan registered a 7-wicket victory over South Africa in the very first test match, which was played. And Babar Azam, the Pakistan captain, got his first win under his belt as captain. That would have been a great feeling for him, especially considering the fact that he was completely out of the New Zealand tour because of his injury. So that is something. And we also saw a left-arm spinner by the name Norman Ali was making his debut. Probably does not have a lot of years left for him in cricket, I suppose. He's looking a bit quite old there. But nevertheless, he did a good job. He became the oldest player to actually get a fifer in a test match after in the 71 year history. He became the oldest bowler left to actually claim 5 wickets in a test match. And that we'll also go and find out what's happening currently in cricket. One thing that I said is that James Vince today made a very attractive 98 to take his team. Sydney Sixers became the first team to enter the Big Bash League finals of 2020 in Australia. We'll talk about that as they registered a comprehensive win over the Perth Scorchers. And Perth Scorchers still have one more chance at it. They'll have one more stab at it, as it would be like a sort of we could call it as an eliminator as we played in the IPL. So definitely they will have one more stab at it, and they can still come to the finals. So let's hope and watch what really happens. So let me get started without any further ado here. So let's talking about England's victory. As I said, it was a magnificent achievement. Joe Root, the captain, absolutely leading from the front. As you know, in 2020, Joe Root had a very dismal 2020 season where he did not register a single century, and here he comes in with a double ton, and then comes close to a double ton. I think he scored a double ton in the first match. In the second match, he came close to it, but could not go further. But what a victory for England! A 2-0 victory against Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka. Yes, Sri Lanka, I wouldn't say they definitely missed the services of Karunaratne, a few players as well, but not taking away any credit from England for the way they played. So absolutely, as I said, full credit to England for putting it over Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka. And especially, as you know, Sri Lanka is a place where normally if you see when any of the Western teams come, they normally see to it that the doctors are making it spin friendly. But even then, England were definitely equal to the task. The spinners done best. and the off spinner and the left arm spinner Jack Leach did a wonderful job. They pick up some fifers as well in the series, and they did a wonderful job to really turn the game around for England. And it was a very good debut for this gentleman Lawrence, who looked absolutely at ease. Even though he was playing his in the subcontinent, first time he was coming overseas, I thought he showed good match temperament, and I thought he's someone definitely a player for the future. He definitely tackled. He came at a very critical juncture along them, and his captain was there to nurture him. But more than all, what one could see is that he definitely looks a very good bat. Dom Sibley, the opener who was struggling, finally got a wood over the Sri Lankan Spinners, and he was there when the win came. So that would have really warmed the hearts of his, no doubt about it. And then let's talk about the Sri Lankan spinner. I mean, if you look at Sri Lanka, definitely, definitely England bowled well. But let me tell you that Sri Lanka were definitely responsible for their actions. I thought there were a lot of indiscreet strokes being played in the series by the Sri Lankan batsmen, which brought their doom. So they definitely, I'm sure they would be examining that. Mickey Arthur definitely said that in the second test, the Sri Lankans absolutely threw it away when they were bowled out for 1-6 and had a very, very good chance to really challenge England over there. And Lasith Embuldeniya happened to be the real find for Sri Lanka, because Lasith Embuldeniya, the left-arm spinner, posed huge problems for the Englishman. Not only that, he went on to pick up his career best analysis of 7 wickets, and not only that, when all the Sri Lankan batting was absolutely railing against the Englishman, this bloke, Lasith Embuldeniya, went on to make a plucky 40 runs. So that really shows that Lasith Embuldeniya is definitely here to stay in the Sri Lankan team. Other than that, Sri Lanka have nothing to really talk about. I said that Lasith Embuldeniya was the one and Angelo Matthews' century would have been pretty refreshing. And Angelo Matthews, we all know what an experienced bat he is. So his century would have been definitely refreshing for Sri Lanka. So that is as far as, so definitely looks like I have definitely got a very good quality spinner now in Lasith Embuldeniya. And especially, as I said, full credit to England because, as you know, in Sri Lanka, they normally prepare spin-friendly pitches when any Western countries come. And definitely, I thought England definitely put their best forward. And also, one has to really tell the fact that James Anderson, in the previous previous tours against Sri Lanka, he has not had a good time. He has struggled with this line, which one could understand. But here he was, James Anderson, absolutely in his element. And also Stuart Broad, as you know, they are definitely on the rotation policy. So England definitely, after this particular victory against Sri Lanka, are going with lots of confidence. As now England have already landed in India. Now the quarantine situation, as you know. But after that, in the month of February, they are going to have the first test match, which is going to be played at Chennai. And what a match it is going to be. I mean, I think this both the teams, I'm not going to do a preview, but I'm generally, my take of the whole situation in England is that it's going to be even Stevens. I thought India is also coming back on a wonderful tour of Australia. Even though they had injured, they played with the third string team and put it across the Aussies. And the Englishmen basically also coming on good confidence after beating Sri Lanka, which is a great thing, as I said. So I think both the teams are absolutely strong in all the departments, and I think we will have a great battle. And I think it's going to be a mouth-watering tussle, which is going to be happening in the Test series between India and England, and I can't wait to have a look at it. Okay, let's talk about the other game. As I said, Pakistan, South Africa. The Test series started, and Pakistan, South Africa, the first Test match ended up with Pakistan winning the Test, and the key for them was the spinners, Yasir Shah and Nouman Ali. But Nouman Ali, as I said, he has become the oldest bowler on debut to go and take 5 wickets. And definitely, he looks to be a very good. He has a nice bowling action, and when he bowls, one could see that he really turns the ball a lot. And that really, and definitely the pitch was aiding. There is no doubt about it. But I thought he did a good job. He deserves a lot of credit for that. And we have known that the South African players normally definitely struggle. And as you know, on pitches like this, whether it is India, Pakistan, or Sri Lanka, you basically need to get onto the front foot. You need to get onto the front foot and smother the spin, and that is where I thought the South African batsmen were lacking. They were not getting to the pitch of the ball and trying to smother the spin. And I think that definitely left a lot to be desired. And one has to wait and watch as to what they come up with in the second test match between Pakistan and Africa. And Noman Ali, definitely the key, no doubt about it. Yasir Shah also bowls beautifully. In fact, he was the one who was giving them the breakthrough, picking up the early wickets. Fawad Alam, I think he's definitely a man on the go now. We have seen what he did. He has a absolutely unorthodox batting stance. I can tell you that I have seen in my cricketing years that I've seen cricketers. I've seen Shivnarayan Chandrapal, who had the former West Indian player, Shivnarayan Chandrapal, who was like an absolute rock for the West Indies. And he was someone who was having a very unorthodox cricket stance, but he was pretty successful. And I think Fawad Alam is someone who has a more unorthodox stance, according to me, than Chandrapal, but he's still able to do, and we saw what he did against New Zealand in New Zealand. And I really feel for this bloke, Fawad Alam, who has scored so heavily in Pakistan domestic cricket, but definitely not able to get into Pakistan colours. But I'm very happy for him that after a gap of 11 years, he's really coming into his own. The new selection, Pakistan Cricket Selection Committee, has to be given the credit, as they took him for the tour of New Zealand. He did his job there, and now he comes here, and on his home ground in Karachi, he goes on to make a century, and that can't be a better feeling than that. And as I said, as far as South Africa were concerned, we saw on the third day that Markram was definitely getting into some good form. Rassie Van. Definitely, I think South Africa are probably definitely gauging the nature of the pitch. And I'm expecting a much better performance from South Africa in the next game against Pakistan. But one has to wait and watch. So that is as far as Pakistan and South Africa were concerned. Now, let's talk about the Bangladesh-West Indies ODI series. Bangladesh totally clean sweeping, which for me was not a surprise at all, especially considering the fact that the West Indies are totally crippled. They are into a third-string team, I would say, because especially all those players who are there. I mean, we had 7 players making their debut in ODI, so what could you expect? I thought, definitely it was sort of a given that Bangladesh are going to win this series. But probably I thought that West Indies could have put up a much better effort here. But nevertheless, it's all over. They swamped them 3-0. And for Bangladesh, well, as I said, everything went for them. The key player, Shakib Al Hasan, was back in the business. Shakib Al Hasan shown that he has a sort of a different sort of a weapon in his armory now, as far as left arm spin is concerned. And that is something he has developed some sort of a new ball when he's bowling. So basically, I think he has basically refined his bowling action. And after the ban has happened, he has got time, and he has probably experimented a few deliveries, and now he's there. He was doing well as well. So as far as Bangladesh were concerned, well, Tamim Iqbal, the captain, led the team very well. So just going away from there. So and now we are waiting for the Bangladesh West Indies Test series to begin. But let's talk about something else now. We are talking about Afghanistan versus Ireland. Afghanistan versus Ireland, it was again a clean sweep by Afghanistan. They swept the ODI series 3-0, and they're showing their total dominance. Rahmanullah Gurbaz has been playing. He's right now playing in the T10 League in Abu Dhabi, as I understand. But one thing I can say that Afghanistan were totally dominant. I think Ireland have to do much better than what they definitely have. Some good players coming in. Some talent is there in Curtis Camphor. Taylor, I thought, has some talent, but I think their bowling is the problem, which is the weak link. They are leaking a lot of runs. I think to really iron that particular department. Rashid came in and he has really shown his prowess here. Shown his skill. Other than that, I thought the Afghanistan players played well. I think Hasmutullah Shahidi made 83 in a particular match. Then we had Rahmat Shah, one of the most technically perfect batsman in the Afghanistan team, Rahmat Shah, made a century as well. So a lot of things going for Afghanistan there. Now let's turn on from here now. I'm going to turn on from here. Now we are going to get into the current cricket scenario. This was all that happened last week. So let's talk about what is happening right now. We know England are in India. That's something. But let's talk about one game here. As I said, there was one bloke yesterday when I actually put in my brief blog on Cricket Reddit, as I normally do. He asked me why there is no news on Big Bash. So I thought this is the opportunity for me to share some good news on Big Bash, if at all that particular bloke who actually wrote this comment on Cricket Reddit is actually listening to me, or probably listens to this particular cricket show, probably watches this cricket show later. Let him know it's for you, my friend. We are talking about the Big Bash League 2020. This was a match, it was the qualifier which was played in Canberra in Australia, the Big Bash League 2020-21. Sydney Sixers have become the first team to enter the finals of the Big Bash League 2020. Congratulations to them. It was a absolutely one-sided match that happened in Canberra, where the Perth Scorchers were grounded to the dust by the batting of James Spence, who put an attractive innings of 98. It was an absolutely comprehensive victory for the Sydney Sixers, who went into the finals. James Spence was not out 98 of 53 balls, and we all know James Spence is a very, very elegant batsman. When he plays his strokes, he plays it with elan, as we call in cricket, elan, grace. He plays with grace, and he made 98 not out. I felt very sorry for him that he could not get to a ton, unfortunately. But I really feel sorry for him. He definitely deserved a century. And I think this will give him a lot of confidence. As you know, James Spence has been given opportunities in the England team, but he has faltered. The problem for James Spence has been he has not been able to take his innings further. And basically, his consistency has been lacking. That's a precise reason such a wonderful, talented batsman is finding himself out of the England team. But I think this will go a long way. This was a really master innings from him. James Spence not out 98 of 53 deliveries, 14 fours and 1 6. Daniel Hughes, his partner, 21 not out of as many balls with 1 4. Philippi, who has had a great BBL, made 45 of 25, a real cracker there, 40 of 28 deliveries, 4 fours and 2 6s. Sydney Sixers winning by 9 wickets with the score 168 for 1 in reply to Perth Scorchers, who made 167 for 6. If you look at the Perth Scorchers innings, at 167 for 6, the highest scorer was Josh English, who's having a wonderful BBL as well. He was not out on 69 of 41 deliveries, 5 fours and 2 6s in that. Ashton Turner contributed 33 of 22, 1 4 and 2 6s. They were the principal contributors as far as the Perth Scorchers were concerned. But I think it was absolutely Sydney Sixers day today. And James Spence, take a bow. Wonderful innings from James Spence. And while just before I go, I'm just getting some news to share here. I know that this is not something that we are talking about much, but here is a chance for me to talk about the T10 League. As you know, T10 League is pretty exciting. It's right now happening in the United Arab Emirates. And definitely this time Fox Sports has also won the contract for broadcasting it, and it's been broadcast by a lot of channels, which is interesting to know. And I'm sure T10 is something which is going to pick up in 20. T10 is definitely going to be, the 100 is coming up in England, and also the T10. So let's talk about T10 League before I leave here. So this I'm talking about two matches a match that happened in Abu Dhabi. This is the 9th match of the Group A, and we are talking about Northern Warriors. Northern Warriors were taking on the Delhi Bulls. As far as Northern Warriors were concerned, it's a T10. As you know, it's only 10 hours game. 137 for 3 was put up by the Northern Warriors. Brandon King making 18. The principal score, Nicholas Pooran thrashed 54 of 21 deliveries with 5 fours and 5 6s. Roman Powell, he's an aggressive character. He was someone, he was the sole person who did well against Bangladesh in the ODIs. 24 of 8, not of 24 of 8 deliveries, which had 2 fours and 2 6s. Fabian Allen really chipping in with 28 at the end of just 10 deliveries, 4 fours and 1 6. 137 for 3 was Northern Warriors score. But what a bowling there. You look at the bowling from this bloke, Waqas Maqsood. Waqas Maqsood, 2 overs, 1 maiden, 1 run and 1 wicket. I think that's a tremendous bowling performance in a T10 match. Bowling 2 overs, 1 maiden, 1 run and 1 wicket. Waqas Maqsood has done a wonderful job here. Other than that, Mohammad Nabi was taken for 24 of 1 over. And look at the Delhi Bulls. So the match was won by the Northern Warriors by 32 runs. The Delhi Bulls, Ramanullah Gurbaz, a dangerous batsman, as we all know. 15 of 13 deliveries, 1 4, 1 6. But the highest scorer was Ravi Bopara with 36 of 15, 2 fours and 4 sixes. And other than that, nothing to talk about. Let's have a look at the bowling. And they were kept to 105 for 7 by the Northern Warriors bowlers. The Northern Warriors bowlers, if you look at it, Wayne Parnell, 2 overs, no maiden, 3 for 15. And there were 2 wickets for Emirates. But nothing really to talk about. Nicholas Pooran took away the man of the match. Well, dear fans and subscribers, I think that's about it as far as... Okay, let's... there's one thing that I wanted to really talk about that I'm just going to get onto that right away. And that was talking about the test series between Bangladesh and West Indies, which is coming up. Talking about the Bangladesh-West Indies series, the first test match, the team has been announced by Bangladesh for the first test match. The good news for Bangladesh is that Shakib Al Hasan is back into the mix. Shakib Al Hasan, there was an injury scare during the 3rd ODI, but he's back again into business, and that would be something that Bangladesh will be very happy about. They have Shadman Islam has been added to the team, and also there are some players who are absolute rookies. Yaqub Ali, I'm told he's a middle order batsman, has done well in the Bangladesh domestic Bangabandhu Cup, and Hassan Mahmood, who has already been selected in the one-dayers, and he was impressive as well, gets his opportunity to really show his airs after doing well in the Bangladesh domestic tournament. Hassan Mahmood, he will be playing in, he has been named in the squad, which is for the first test, which is beginning on February the 3rd at the Zahoor Ahmed Chowdhury Stadium in Chattogram in Bangladesh. Well, dear fans and subscribers, it was a pleasure, but now I'm looking at one of my colleagues. I welcome you, my friend. I do see that you say you're exam finally back. Well, and you have given me a comment. India last played a test on 19th, and England last played a test on 25th. So there are 17 and 11 days of rest after tour. Is it getting too tiring? I believe yes, my friend. I think definitely it will definitely have an effect, according to me. This is something which has become common nowadays, that people are, because of the COVID, one has to, a team which lands in another country has to quarantine and then get used. And so it is definitely tiring, because first of all, it drains you into the biosecure bubble. Then you are acclimatized to the climate. You get acclimatized basically to the country's climate, and then you also have to get some match practice, some real match practice to really walk into a test match or any of the matches. So I think you're absolutely right there, my friend. I would definitely go with you. Definitely it's getting too tiring, but this is the order of the day now, because as you know, COVID is rampant. So that's something one has to stay safe and secure. And I think it is not something which is happening for only one team. It's happening for all the teams. So let's accept it and just move forward. Thanks for raising that question, my friend. Appreciate that. I hope you did well in your exams. And that's it. I'm done for today as far as the Cricket Happening Show is concerned. Once again, keep yourself tuned. And tomorrow on a Sunday, once again, be back. I would urge the audience to once again be back with me, joining me on this Cricket Happening Show and shooting your questions. Questions here. I would really love that if you could shoot your questions. Thank you, everybody, for all your company to this cricket show, and looking forward once again to having you all in my next cricket show tomorrow. That's on Sunday, and that's it from me here today. This is your host Ram signing off.